Good morning, Halo family. I don't usually do these very well, but I found it really important to um, send a message out, I guess, to either new people or even old timers. But the other day, I had um, I want to say, an experience. It's an emotional experience, and I thought I would share it because there is a way that to get out of that emotional experience so that I don't have a permanent, um, I don't do something permanently stupid over something temporarily emotional or emotionally temporary. Um, anyway, I was feeling a little bit, not important, I guess is the word. And I was starting to compare myself, and we are always told in the rooms of AA or from our sponsors or whoever that to never compare, to always identify. And then that way we find ourselves not envying people but admiring, because there's a big difference, which creates a jealousy, and then it also creates a low self-esteem or something like that. But I know that when I start feeling that way and I start thinking that what I'm not doing is good enough, or that I'm not doing something to make an impact on the world, or, there's something going on within me that is trying to tell me that I need to do more. But most times that's not the case. It's just usually something going on in my life at the time that I'm trying to do something to lift myself up because I'm feeling down about myself. So I start thinking of things that I can do to stand out, or I start thinking of things to do that will get me noticed. I want to do something that's going to make a mark on the world. I start thinking about writing a book, or I start thinking about starting something huge that I know that I can't complete, but in my mind, I think about how it's going to make others see me as important, or as when I leave this world, they're going to say, oh yeah, well, the thing is that I have to keep myself grounded when I get like that, because I can start allowing myself to feel unimportant when I just have to remember that today I stayed sober today. And for me, that is about the best thing that I can do to make my world better. Because after I've been sober a little while, sometimes we forget the idea that being sober is a miracle for some of us, that it's life or death, or and that it's not only affecting my life being sober and doing right things and helping other people, but it's helping the people that I hurt through my addiction to heal as well. So whenever you find yourself feeling unimportant, or you feel like there's something more you should be doing, just remember that just staying sober, for the most part, is creating an incredible mark on the world. You're showing people that it can be done. You're showing people that getting sober is possible, because once something's been accomplished, it's no longer impossible. You just got to, some people don't realize that it's a struggle, but it's doable, it's manageable. And in the book, it tells us we do recover. So, I've been blessed through honesty about my disease, through hard work, through helping others, and I don't know, just do the next right thing. I have been blessed with the obsession, and my craving is gone. I don't think about it. But it's not to say it won't come back. But I also remember that every day that I don't drink, it creates a ripple effect. So I don't have to do something significant in the world for people to know who I am. I have to know who I am. God knows who I am. And every day that I stay sober, I'm already doing something great. It's in my life. I have to remember that it's not the world around me I'm trying to change to make my life better. I have to make me better, and it makes everything around me better too. Also too, is I wanted to remind everybody too, because along with that, there's the prayer, one of the step prayers that is very, very dear to my heart. And it's one of the first prayers that when I was in treatment had hit me so hard, brought me to my knees once it became so clear to me. And that's the third step prayer. And I know there's a lot of people who read it over and over, but my sponsor had told me, just keep reading it, because I didn't understand it. Just keep reading it, keep reading it, and keep reading it, and eventually one day it will make sense to you. And I'm hoping that maybe if I read it to you for the newcomers as well, maybe it'll help give you some insight on what it's trying to what it said to me, and what it made open my eyes. And to this day, even through a 2-year relapse, and I got a little over 2 years sober now, that this prayer, once it was clear, once I had clarity about this prayer, has remained with me, and the third step prayer, is so profound. I mean, they all are, but for me, this one was the most profound because it describes that everyday thing for me that I know that it simplified everything for me. It made things less overwhelming to understand and comprehend. And it's, God, I offer myself to thee, and which is our third step prayer, which is we give our life and our will over to the care of God as that we understand them, to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. I mean, you're surrendering. You're asking God you're telling God, your higher power, that you're surrendering so that He can mold you into that person that He expected you to become, or that you brought into existence, or however you want to put it. Relieve me of my bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. When we are in any type of self-reliance, selfishness, self-centeredness, self-will run riot. Anything run on self-will, they say will fail. We have to rely on a higher power, a higher God. When we rely on self, we usually don't do well. So we're asking God to relieve me. I ask God to relieve me of that bondage of myself, so that I can better do His will, the helping others, doing as He would have me do. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. That's the part of the prayer that really helped me to feel less overwhelmed, because I'm only asking Him to take away my difficulties, that for that day. I'm not asking Him to remove all of my defects. I'm just only asking Him to remove the ones that are going to get in the way of me doing His will for that day. And that makes it seem less overwhelming, because I will never be void of every defect. It's not possible. I'm going to always have my defects. I'm going to be able to manage them better. I'll be able to know when to use them at the right times if needed. I ask God to remove them, some of them completely. But for the most part, I'm only going to ask that He remove the ones that are going to get in the way that day. Because I know the next day I'm going to be asking Him again to remove those ones. And that victory over those if I can get victory over those difficulties that day, those shortcomings or those defects for that day, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love. And what I'm asking in this prayer is I'm asking to remove the defects for that day that are going to get in the way of doing His will. And by doing that, I'm showing attraction rather than a promotion. People are gonna, I'm gonna bear witness. You know, people are gonna bear witness to my new life, and they're gonna ask me how I did that, and they're gonna ask, you know, what did you do for your life to be so incredible, and that you have been able to accomplish what I've accomplished, and it's only through faith and the program, and working hard and helping others. That's what that part means to me, that victory of the may bear witness. And that's, for me, like one of the most important things, is because by me doing the next right thing, by me staying sober, that other people will see that this is possible. And to me, that is the best promotion out there. Talk is cheap, but actions speak volumes. And to me, that's, and then I can explain, and then I can show this is how I did this, because then they ask you. I'm not trying to force my recovery on people, because they don't hear you when you approach them, but when they approach you. So bear witness, may I do thy will always. The third step prayer for me has been so profound, because it's everything in my life that I want to do, as far as helping others and doing God's will and changing the person that I used to be to the person I'm trying to become today. So just know that, just keep doing the right thing. Some days are harder than others, but just know that there's so many people out there that are willing to help. There are so many people out there that you can reach out to. Get numbers, and remember that it's a daily reprieve. Don't try to think ahead, just think in today. And then if you want to simplify it to its simplest form, just try to when tomorrow comes, when you're blessed enough to wake up the next day, and you don't really know where to go. Just remember, you can always do the same thing you did the day before and didn't drink, to get you through the next day. And each day gets easier, and things do get better, and they get different. Just keep having that faith. Reach out, like I said. Kendall has done an amazing job starting this group. I think it's... I've watched you come from where you came from, and it is truly affirmation that God is alive and well and working in people's lives. When you go from hopelessness to hope, to hopeful, you are a miracle as well. And I'm gonna say, I'm me personally, I am very grateful for you and what you're doing, and what the message you're giving out. So. Just keep on keeping on, everybody, and I hope everybody has a blessed day. And God is good.